Markets were set to open lower after Donald Trump delivered an early morning tariff twist. In a series of tweets, the US president claimed China was stalling in the trade talks to get a better deal with a new Democratic president in 2020. Then he said, quote, "Guess what? That's not going to happen. China has just informed us that they, the Vice Premier, are now coming to US to make a deal." Later, China upped the rhetoric, warning that if the US does follow through with tariffs on Friday, it will respond tit for tat. Joining me now from London is Myron Brilliant. He's the Executive Vice President and Head of the International Affairs of the US Chamber of Commerce. Good to see you. I assume you're doing good duties in the course of your business in London tonight. But what's your understanding of the current situation with the talks in Beijing?
Well, Richard, it's good to be on the show again. Let me just say, it may be sunny in New York, it's cloudy in Washington and Beijing. 10 days ago, you would have forecasted that this was a week where likely the two sides would have agreed to a framework understanding, agreement that would have paved the way potentially for a summit sometime in the next few weeks. That's more difficult now. There's a high-stakes game of poker being played. I would not expect the President of the United States to blink here. I think the reality is certainly there's been some backsliding on the part of China. That's very concerning. I think it's in the interest of both countries to have a high standard, comprehensive agreement between the two countries that addresses a range of issues.
But Myron,
this is going to be a very timely visit. I'm glad that the visit is still on. There was debate in Beijing about having the visit, but we're going to see what comes out of it. What does Liu He, in fact, bring to Washington? What are the concessions? What are the areas that he brings to Washington?
Now, what is it the US Chamber wants? Because you know, everybody wants a deal. Everybody says that there needs to be a more level playing field, etc., etc., etc. But are you in favor of ramping up the pressure with more tariffs if that gets the deal done?
What we need is greater intellectual property protection. We need to address the forced technology transfer issues. We need to make sure there's market access for U.S. companies. There's a range of areas that we have addressed with both governments, and we hope that progress is being made there. In terms of ratcheting up pressure, look, we don't want to see an escalation of tariffs on either side, because that doesn't help our economy, doesn't help China's economy, and it will hurt the world economy. But at the end of the day, if China is in fact backsliding, which it appears to be doing, then it is important that the United States stands up and address these issues and make sure that we get the best deal possible here.
Right, but to paraphrase Prime Minister Theresa May on Brexit, is no deal better than a bad deal? And if so, how do you characterize a bad deal?
Well, it's a different situation than Brexit. And of course, I've been here on that topic this week. But what I would say to you is we need a deal, but we don't need any deal. We need a good deal that is, again, high standard, comprehensive. It's not going to be the end of all disputes between China and the United States, but we need to put this relationship on a more positive trajectory. And the markets are going to remain nervous.
Right.
Investors are going to remain nervous. The business community is going to remain nervous. And it's not in the interest of either country to forestall the opportunities that present themselves by getting a deal on the table. But we're not there yet. There's certainly an impasse that has to be resolved.
Good to see you. Thank you. We'll talk Brexit at some point. I promise you, we'll discuss Brexit. Thank you, sir.